Well, I get a lot of comments, people amazed that I can still remember these stories, but a lot of that comes from, typing them up all those years in the wino hotels and all that. But when it comes to psychedelic experiences, of course, you very rarely remember those. You're just fucked up. If you do remember specific incidents when you're on a psychedelic, you probably weren't high enough. But the exception to that was when, September of '67, I just returned from New York City and the Bahamas, where I'd been selling ounces from a kilo. I sold off what was left of the kilo. I had $100 in my pocket, which was a fortune back then. Matter of fact, it's as big a bankroll as I usually have now. So I was going to go find work somewhere in the Northwest. I get out on the highway. I start hitchhiking. I get a ride almost all the way to Portland from the Bay Area. And I go to see an old friend. And he tells me that my old buddy Stan McGriff, who was my roommate in the whorehouse, is back in town. And he's he's about to desert. He went through basic training and he's on his way to Canada, so he's going to be in Portland for
desert. He's leaving for Vietnam. He's going to not.
Yeah, he went to basic training and they told him he's going to Nam, so he's going to Canada. They gave him a week leave or whatever, and he's not going back. And that's what he did, actually. I think he was pardoned by Carter later. Anyway, so I get hold of him. I get over at his place in Northeast Portland the next day, and he's sitting on the porch with his girlfriend, Sophie, who I'd never met. And, this is the first time I experienced this in my life, and I experienced later. For whatever reason, she hated me on sight. I've seen that.
What do you mean, like the second she met you?
The way she looked at me. Maybe she didn't like tall guys. Maybe McGriff had told her something about me. It didn't matter. I just knew I was gonna kind of have to walk on eggs with her. So we go inside, and one of the great pieces of luck I always had was if you'd been waiting months for a shipment of drugs to show up, I'd show up just before it came. And in this case, I go inside. There's the two of them, and there's these two other old friends of mine. And there's a knock on the door, and a guy shows up with 2 grocery bags full of peyote buds. And it turns out he was actually a merry prankster. He was on the further bus with Kesey and all, but he picked these on the Rio Grande. So he puts them down on the